This is C3 Couples Casual Conversation. I'm GregoryDeon.
I'm Dorian Marie.
And we are here to have a conversation. How do we address that pattern in regards to alcohol? And so what tends to happen, I mean, we all, can probably agree that we are taught to use alcohol in a way of celebrating. We always associate alcohol with celebrating, having a good time, feeling good. We use alcohol to demonstrate success and so on and so forth. But what tends to happen, because we've associated alcohol with these good feelings, we have a tendency when we start feeling bad to run to that good feeling, which happens to be alcohol.
And we're talking about how it affects relationships when one partner drinks, and maybe when y'all got together, well, we got together and we were drinking when we got together. Now one person wants the other person to either lessen their alcohol consumption or stop drinking altogether, and how that affects relationships. Is that fair to put that on your partner when that's how you all met?
I mean, if it's affecting the relationship, I agree that it definitely should be something you all should have a conversation about. Running to that alcohol for that good feeling is, that's going to start a spiral downward.
Right.
You may, feel some kind of way at any given time, and looking for alcohol to subside that feeling is not the answer. It's just literally going to be a way to pacify the situation for the moment. And the moment that you become sober enough to remember what was bothering you in the first place, you're going to realize that it's still there. And so instead of using something to pacify those moments, we have to first address what those things are. Ask yourself some simple questions like, why is it that I'm running to this substance to make me feel better? Or why is it that I'm feeling bad about this situation from the get-go? Like, what is it about it that I can't consciously and sober-mindedly address, whereas I have to go run to get a pacifier?
So when we've known each other for 6 years, and he has always drank alcohol from the day that I met him. But it's interesting because when you do get with somebody and you decide to be with them, when you met them, they were drinking, or when you met them, they were smoking. When you met them, they were doing this. When you met them, they were going to their mom's house every weekend. And now it's a problem once you get together. But the thing that I've noticed about him is, and us, I never have ever asked him to stop drinking, stop consuming alcohol. I never was like, you need to stop doing that. When we got together and we both started to look at our health and look at our bodies and how we wanted to see our future, that's when the topic came up. And my biggest thing is, because we are healthy and we do, choose a certain lifestyle, it was a concern for me because I'm like, what is happening to your liver in there? Because he wasn't a belligerent drinker, like acting crazy when we'd be out in public and all that. He's a happy guy. He's a fun guy. And that just comes out even more. He's not violent or anything like that. But my thing was, okay, if that's what you want to do for you, and if you see me looking around, we're on several different platforms. But when we turn 70 and 80, I don't want to have to push you around in a wheelchair because you make choices to drink alcohol for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 30-something years. So my thing is, and I do that with myself, with my own eating habits, I have to think about my partner. It can't be just, oh, you're just eating and making yourself fat, or you're just drinking, you tearing yourself up. No, that's going to affect our future. Will we still be able to go on a cruise when we're 70 and 80 years old? Or are we in a hospital room or a hospital bed because of choices that we're making now? And so, but as it came to us being partners in a relationship, I didn't just one day say, you need to stop drinking. You just need to stop drinking. We can talk about too how that unfolded. But the topic is the old program and why he would run to that as the old program. And just like I would run to sugar. It's not just about alcohol, but mine was sugar.
Yeah, I like all of that is, thinking about your future is definitely, something that you should, focus in on. But I was more focused in on like the now, right? So as I've gotten older, and as all of you will get older at some point in time, if you keep living, alcohol is going to start to affect you in different ways. When I was younger, in college, and in my 20s, I could go out, have a great time, consume some alcohol, go to sleep, pop up the next day, ready to go on the spot, right? As I've gotten older, it don't work that way. If there have been moments where I have, over consumed, I wake up the next morning, I need a whole 24 hours just to reboot my body, my brain, the whole 9 yards. Even though, I've always been one that has worked out and exercised. I watch what I eat, I drink plenty of water, but it's something about, just as you age, when you start putting these different substances in your body it wears and tears on your body over a period of time, and it begins to get harder and harder for your body to recover, especially in a short period of time. So after, thinking about that just in the now, because we are very strategic in how we use our time. And if I wake up one morning completely hungover, I'm going to lose time that I can't get back. Our time is very, very valuable. And so with things like that in mind, I said, hey, I have to get this under control. I love to have a good time and do different things like that. But as I've gotten older, that alcohol consumption had to go. Right. It literally had to go. I do occasionally enjoy a beverage versus saying, oh man, I'm finna go give me a drink. It just brings a whole different type of connotation behind it. And for those of you that are just coming on, we're just talking about the old program, and with the emphasis on alcohol and how it just affects your body in the long run.
In the relationship.
And definitely in the relationship.
Yeah.
And with that, waking up and not being able to function properly, and then looking at my counterpart, and she's looking at me like, hey, we're losing time. We're losing ground while you're laying here having to recover because you allowed yourself to consume too much. And one of those things that will definitely help a person, stop consuming as much is literally just make it up in your mind to be disciplined. Yeah. Discipline yourself to the point where you don't have more than what you need. You drink, and they say this all the time, you drink responsibly. Always keep in the forefront that you're an adult. There are things that you need to take care of. There's things that you need to show up to. There's places that you need to be and things you need to accomplish. You can't do that, not being sober-minded.
How it came, like I said, I've known him for 6 years. He was always a heavy, just drinker. He would drink all the things. But because we own our own business, I'm a music artist, he owns his own company, a CPR company. My concern was, okay, when we're out here doing these events and there's alcohol there, he would forget things that we said or things that he may have done. And I'm not talking about crazy bad things, just either being loud or just talking a lot and just being, overly excessive in his personality, which is a great personality. But what if we're at an industry party? And I need you to protect me. I need you to cover me. I need to know that you are sober-minded. That's when it came, into play, like this needs to get under control. On top of the health things, on top of when the old programming would show up, then that's what he would run to, just like I would run to a piece of cake.
Yeah, and so that's good. It's just about, it's about just recognizing and identifying for yourself, why am I doing these things? Like, why am I needing, some substance to help myself cope with just the waves of life, Yeah. Things are going to happen. And so what I had to consciously start doing, in regards to, dealing with alcoholism and dealing with trying to, quote unquote, function with alcohol, I had to make a conscious decision and to change my patterns. And so, of course, we say, oh, you just stop drinking, and find something else to drink to substitute. Like, no. So when a person starts consuming a substance to pacify themselves, they start creating patterns that are linked to that substance.
Right.
Like, say, for instance, when you come home and you had a really, really rough day, a pattern could be, I'm going to fix myself a drink. Okay, you wake up on the weekend and you're like, man, let me do a few things around the yard, clean up in the house, and da 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 da. And then afterwards, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna have a drink. You see what I'm saying? Or when I get ready to cut my hair and trim myself up during that time, I'm gonna have a drink. All right. So you end up creating these patterns. Okay. And so when you are dealing with trying to break these patterns, the routine doesn't change. Yeah. You're still going to do house chores. You're still going to cut your hair. You're still going to do all these different things. But instead of sitting down and having a drink afterwards, sit down and create something. Put something on paper. I would say read a book, but some people drink and read books too. But you have to start creating new habits, start creating new routines, or doing it at different times, or mixing up the patterns to make sure that it doesn't prompt you to consume.
That's when therapy also came into play in changing the people that we were around. That played a big factor. I
mean, that's a humongous factor. So, like, say for instance, so for me, I didn't have an issue when I would be in my own place at home. You know, I could have a beverage and just chill and enjoy myself. I wouldn't overdo it. And, you know, and if in the instance, if I did, I'm at home. Right. Go to sleep and, you know, keep it moving. Right. But what I had a bad habit of doing, I would drink with other people that were just as heavy drinkers as I was.
And I don't drink at all.
And what that would turn into is a binge drinking fest. We literally would just start going around the room. Everybody buys around. You want another one? Hey, let me get a little sip of that. What you got? You trying something new? Da 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 da. Those of you that have been in these moments at either parties or just gatherings, you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it's not until the next morning or even on the way home you realize, man, I done drank too much. But in that moment, in that excitement, in those good feelings, in that fellowship, you end up consuming more than you should, which is considered to be binge drinking.
Right. And I don't judge anybody that drinks. I didn't judge him. I got into a union with him knowing that he drank like that. But I had already planned to manifest a spirit of sobriety anyway. But anyway.
I was already manifesting sobriety.
You think?
I was just going a lot slower than what her manifestation situation was.
Right. So I don't judge anybody that drinks. I just had a bad situation when I was 16. And the first drink that I was at this house party with a bunch of Christians. Hallelujah. We was in a music group. This famous music group, and I was 16 years old, and we were at a house party, and the first drink they gave me was this drink with gold flakes in it. I don't know what it's called.
Goldschlager.
Oh Lord, yes, that. It was that. They gave me some Goldschlager.
Goldschlager.
Right? First time ever drinking. You know, I'm thinking we're here at the party. We're all Christians. It's all great. You know, it's gonna be wonderful. But the main leader of the group was
wonderful.
Right, they gave me that drink. And of course, I got drunk, like right away, like maybe after 2. And I remember laying on the bed, looking up, and was almost sexually assaulted. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that on here, but almost assaulted. And somebody walked in right before that happened, but I was so drunk. What do you call it? You just inebriated? Or
inebriated.
Okay.
Or you just drunk.
Well, I was drunk, yeah. But I'm talking about the word where you don't have any control and you're just laying there. And I couldn't do anything, but I woke up. I mean, I was able to see the person about to, and then somebody walked in. And so from that day, I decided I'll never drink again. I didn't even want to. I was just there. And they was like, hey, drink this. And I didn't like the idea of not being in control. If I was ever in that situation again, like I couldn't move, I was just too, whatever. So that's why I don't drink. So I don't judge anybody that does. How could I? When, I'm with the greatest man that I've ever met in my life, and he drank from the day I met him, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't bad, but
Right.
doing drinking like that was bad.
Right.
Because your body becomes used to it.
Yeah.
And so let me give you this too. So I used to get up in the morning and literally take a shot of whiskey.
Yes.
Every single morning, and I would function just fine. I wouldn't be inebriated and all over the place and stuff like that. It was just literally a routine. Most people would wake up in the morning, they drink coffee. I would wake up in the morning, drink whiskey.
Hungover at work.
And go, no, I wouldn't be hungover.
One time you
No,
said
that
you drank at work.
That was a whole nother situation. I'm talking about just being in a place where I was just sipping every single day. And so when you do that, what I didn't realize, what I mostly understand now is that as you do that on a routine basis, your body starts to adapting. You call it tolerance. Your body starts adapting to that consistent feed of alcohol. Okay, so when you do finally, say, hey, I'm gonna go out with some people, we're gonna go over to the house and we're gonna drink. Your tolerance is super duper high.
Yeah.
Because you literally been drinking all week long. Mm-hmm. And so when you sit down and start consuming, you start drinking back after back after back after back after back, and considerably thinking that, oh, I'm good, I'm okay. Until you go to sleep and wake up, then your body is like, oh my God, what did you do to me last night? You got this serious headache, or some of you might not even get hangover headaches or whatnot due to the lack of water on your brain. Mm-hmm. This is a whole bunch of science behind it. Okay, but your body, you will feel it in your body. And as I've gotten older, that started to becoming the most disgusting feeling in the world, because I enjoy being able to get up and go, not having to stumble around and get my head together and try to remember this and remember that. Because one thing that over consumption of alcohol was having an effect on my memory. And I would forget things. And I really don't like forgetting things. And I have a pretty good sense of memory.
Right.
But I would forget things when I would drink. I absolutely hate that.
That, again, was my biggest concern because of what we do. We have our own businesses. We're out in the public, especially as a music artist myself, doing events. And then if somebody does something to you, or you end up doing whatever, you know how it could be, right? And when you don't have any control, just like I was almost assaulted, anything could happen to you, and then you don't remember. And then people have these videos and these pictures, and you're like, I don't remember that. I don't remember doing any of that, right? That was my biggest thing. And you drank so much, because he stopped doing that now. He doesn't drink like he used to drink. You drank so much that it didn't affect you. And I'll be looking at you like, man, if I drank just half of that glass, I'd be dead.
A fourth.
Yes.
I mean, I was drinking some strong, like way, and like this started like when I got out of college, because I moved to another state, and I lived in another state for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, maybe a little longer than that. See, even I can't remember the actual time because I spent most of my time out there drinking alcohol.
Right.
That's literally when I became a full-fledged functioning alcoholic. And literally I drank alcohol more than I drank water. It is a divine miracle that I don't have liver disease now.
And that's what I wanted to stop. I wanted to make sure you didn't get to that.
It was really, really, really bad. And as much as I drank, because I do have a good personality, I am a nice and loving person. I didn't get in any trouble. Right. I didn't get into fights, and I went to plenty of parties, plenty of clubs, we're in plenty of situations where other people were getting drunk and just acting a complete idiot of themselves. I'm just, enjoying myself, having a good time. I do get loud and laugh and do all the, silly things, but I never got into a confrontation due to the fact that I had been drinking. And so that was something that I didn't want to create for myself. Luckily I didn't have any, situations like that to deal with in my younger ages. But when you're in college and stuff, things pop off. I'm a part of fraternity, and that really doesn't have anything to do with the alcohol. It's just, there's a rivalry. And, when you're part of a fraternity and different things like that. So, and yeah, of course, we've had our fair share of beverages and things like that. But as a grown man, like that's not a good look for any grown man and such as myself that has, a company, that has things behind him, that has a beautiful woman. Last thing that, she wants to happen to me is me have an accident or get pulled over,
that was
because I've been out there drinking and acting stupid. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that I even thought about for myself, because I don't want that type of reputation. I didn't want that hovering over my head. And then I want to be able to maintain complete consciousness and be able to be aware of myself and my surroundings at any given moment so I can be that protector.
But here's the, where I give him his props. Like, this was just this year and last year, but mainly this year where you really decided, like, I'm going to change. But that also cost you some relationships.
Yeah,
really close relationships.
Because, we all, those of us that, enjoy drinking, especially drinking in with other people and just having a good time. It don't have to be anything, no motive behind it. But once you decide that you're going to stop doing it, it becomes easier to stop doing it when you separate yourself from the people that you've done it with the most. Okay, because there were some people that were in my lives, friends, and some were family, that every time we got together, we was going to be drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, plain boring. We literally didn't get together if a drink wasn't poured.
I couldn't relate. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be a part of this family or a part. I can't do it.
It wasn't like who bringing the drinks. We all bringing drinks. You see what I'm saying? And so I had to dissociate myself with that type of atmosphere. And of course, you don't come hang out no more. You don't come see us. You don't talk to us. I understand that, but in this moment, I'm choosing me over you. And that's just what it is, because I didn't want to continue that cycle for myself. Because, like I said, even long-term effects I didn't want those detrimental effects where she's gonna have to take care of me, or I got a bag hooked up to me because I, was not disciplined enough to stop these bad habits.
So if you're just joining on, we're on several different platforms. We're talking about, when your partner has habits or when they resort to the old programming. Mine was sugar and eating cake and all the things. And, his was alcohol. But he's basically kind of leading this with how he's changed his alcohol consumption. Again, I don't judge anybody that drinks. I just don't drink because of what happened when I was 16 or what almost could have happened because somebody gave me a drink for the first time. The slugger.
It's slugger.
Slugger. It's slugger right on out. And I was not able to pick myself up off this bed when somebody was on top of me about to do something, but they didn't because somebody else walked in and stopped them. And I said, I cannot drink ever again in my life because I don't like not being in control. Now, after my divorce, later on, my sisters and cousins, they would all try to get me to drink. Like, drink this baby drink, this Moscato. And so I would try different things when I was in their presence. And they were like, don't drink when you're not with us. And the thing is, I just don't like the taste of it. I want cake. Okay, if I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna have a bad habit or something like that, give me some cheesecake and all the things. Okay, that was my thing. But with him, even when we first, every time you would be around a group of people, close people to you, everybody's drinking, and I'm like, here we go again. I'm the oddball when I was with my sisters and cousins and friends. Everybody's drinking but me. So I would try to get something, to try to be a part. And it's like, that's not me. That's not the authentic me. And then when we were around, certain people that you would be around, everybody's offering me a drink. And then you offer me a drink, or you let them offer me a drink. And I'm like, hey, how are you going to protect me and cover me if
I'm wasted?
And you wasted. And we had industry events, music events. And, I needed him to be sober. But he chose to lessen his alcohol consumption just as of this year, and he's cut a lot of body fat. His memory is much, much better.
For sure. Because
he would not remember things that he would, and that's what I'm saying. Like you just said, he would drink so much. I just look at him like, all day? Every day?
I mean, she
light
probably
colored, dark colored, all the things. No judgment.
She was anticipating me just passing out at any given time, but I wouldn't. I just be sauced all day long, man. Just sauced.
Right.
So
no, again, my concern was what's going to happen 20 years from now.
yes.
Because he would always be like, "Oh, I'm healthy." The doctor, I'm like, "What's happening to your liver, though?"
Right.
Like, you drink alcohol more than you drink water.
Yeah.
No judgment. But what is that going to do to you when we are 70, 80 years old? You know.
So I mean, I can recommend. You know, they have so many different things that you can Google to help you. You know, subside your alcohol consumption. But one thing that I did for myself, literally, you know, I just started replacing that. I started replacing those patterns of time that I would actually drink with other things. You know, like I've always worked out, but you know, say if I start feeling like, oh man, I really want to get it in, I go and work out in the gym, and and that's my time to just sweat it out, press myself through, because that was the cycle I literally had to get into to stop drinking liquor like I was drinking, you know. And now that I've, you know, pulled back tremendously, I can actually enjoy it when I have it, you know. And I've always enjoyed the flavoring. I've always enjoyed the arts and the craftsmanship behind preparing it and all the different things. You know, I had just kind of just started just consuming too much of it for a long, long period of time. It probably 15,
Right.
maybe 20 years
Right.
of just overconsumption of alcohol. And so now I can, you know, if I'm going to have a beverage, I've even changed the way I term it. I don't have drinks.
Right.
I just go have me a beverage,
Right.
sit down and have a conversation with my lady, you know, cook some food, you know, sit up here and we'll just love on each other. You know, so it's a whole different feel behind it, and I'm glad that I had the courage to do so, because, you know, I didn't want to not only be a burden to her, I didn't want to be a burden to myself. Because I don't know how you feel about forgetting stuff that you've done, but it really, really bothered me.
Yeah.
Really bothered me.
It was to the point where he would come home with like bags and stuff. Now he comes home with more food. But before, it would just be
more drinks. It was drinks.
bottles. Bottles and okay, I hear all the bottles clicking, but what food at?
Yeah. You know, it's just like, you know, this is a journey that, you know, I was able to master. But even when we went on our fast, our 30-day fast from sex, you know, during that time period, it was like, I didn't drink during that time period, I believe, simply because that would have, you know, made the creature would have made me want to get a little creepy. And so that was very, very good to not consume during that time. And that helped as well, gave me the clarity to understand exactly what it was that I was doing, you know, as I was
No, you're fine.
I was consuming, you know, that much alcohol.
I'll share this, then we're going to answer that question.
Oh,
I had to move clear away from my family. And people may be like, oh my gosh, you moved 4 hours away. I had to, because back home, that's all we did was eat. Everybody in my family would just eat. Eat all the things, just eat. And I was much, much bigger at that time. And the same thing happened with you. Like, you had to pull away from family in order to choose something different. But I did. I had to move clear away because it was getting bad. Like, we was all blowing up. And I had to just, I mean, that's not the only reason I moved away. But sometimes you have to, one way to cut back, because we have a question over here, alcohol consumption suggests ways to cut back. That's one of them. The way that I had to cut back from eating so much sugar, I had to get away from people that, you know, was consuming
sugar.
Yeah.
One way to help you cut back on, and I'm just going to address liquor, because liquor was my problem, was with liquor.
Yeah.
And so, but they call it a 3-step. It's called 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is alcohol consumption decrease. And so you would only have one drink. Now I'm talking about drinks like liquor, not a beer. Now I was drinking the hard stuff. One drink per hour. And what this does is allow your body time to process the alcohol that you just put in. Now I'm talking about a drink in moderation, okay? Just a 2 ounce, maybe 2.5 ounce beverage. I'm not talking about a whole, you know, half a pint of liquor. you're gonna be wasted. Okay, so just a normal size liquor beverage, 1 per hour. Okay, and the number 2 would be you would only have 2 drinks per occasion. So say for instance, if me and my lady was out and we was having a good time and I decided I wanted me a beverage, my limit is 2. 2 only. We probably wouldn't sit there for 2 hours, but that would be my 2 limit drink. It would be nothing else for the rest of the night, okay? We value our time.
Yeah.
And then of course, here comes 3. 3 is going to be you won't consume more than 3 drinks in a single day. And again, let me preface this. We're talking about, I'm addressing liquor because liquor is going to have the highest alcohol content of any beverage. Okay, we're looking at 35 up to 40%, 45%, 180 proof, just depending on what your choice of liquor is. And so if you can stick by that routine, that will help you decrease your consumption of liquor.
Because you were telling me one time that you have to do dark first and then light or something.
So they got all these little tricks of the trade, right? They say, these are things that I was, just told as I was coming up in the liquor realm, in the drinking era or whatever. You say don't mix dark and clear liquor because you'll never been sicker. And then they'll say don't drink, if you drink beer before liquor, you've never been sicker. They say if you drink wine after liquor, you'll be fine.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's just all these little jingles, okay? So, and they say don't mix champagne with liquor, you'll get sick off of that too. So I drank so much, none of that really applied to me. I could mix and match it any kind of way. Other than the very, very first time. The very, very first time, I'll never forget this time. I'm not going to give you too much detail because you don't even know I'm bitter. But the very, very first time I mixed clear and dark liquor, I got extremely sick. After that, I didn't get sick anymore. The only reason that I would get sick is because I literally drunk too much. But as far as mix and matching the different types, it never bothered me after that.
So those are like practical ways. Now I want to tap into the mental, maybe even spiritual aspect of it. Cutting back is to really think about, what am I doing to myself? Because let's just be real about it. Alcohol is poison, correct? I'm poisoning myself. Just like I was poisoning myself having a cupcake plus the 6 donuts that was in the teacher's lounge when I worked at the school. Plus when I got home, some more cake. Poison. So why don't I love myself enough to cut back? So there's the practical side, and then there's the side of, I need to start loving myself. I need to think about my future. If you are with somebody, and this was my biggest thing, and I'm going to give you a statement that you can take with you. I don't want my spouse to have to push me around with a bag hanging out my butt or whatever the things that happens when you have to deal with, alcohol effects. Thinking about the people around me, thinking about my family. Do I love them enough to cut back? Am I willing to suffer, the results of cutting back now? Because you're going to suffer one way or the other. You're going to suffer now until your body gets used to you not consuming so much, or you're going to suffer later in a hospital bed or something happening in your life. I don't know how much you drink or what it does to you getting in wrecks or how bad it is, but you're going to suffer one way or another. And that's what I was telling people too when I talk about optimal health, which I'm going to read one of my cards from there, is, Dorian, you're going to have to fast and, keep those things away from you like the sugar, because, and just suffer through that until your body gets used to it, or you're going to have diabetes and you're going to be in the hospital. So that's another way to think about how I can cut back from any bad habit, not just sugar or alcohol. Any bad habit. Do I love myself? And do I love this man to protect our future so that I'm not, stealing our time and stealing our years? It's different if we're 70 and 80 and something happens to our bodies, but it's different when it's a choice that we made 30-something years ago, and now here we are.
Yeah. And just to provide, that's good, babe. Great. Just to provide another solution for for those of you that may be contemplating, and I encourage you all to definitely decrease your alcohol intake, is to you're gonna love this. Is to set your intentions when you get ready to go out, or you go ready to go to dinner, or whatever the case may be. Set your intentions. Tell yourself,
so come on,
I'm only gonna have 2 drinks. Okay,
I love that.
Even to this day, I do that. And I can say it works. It has been working for me for a very long time now.
Come on.
Okay, tell yourself, I'm only gonna have 2 drinks. Today was a great day, and yes, I feel good. I do want to enjoy me a beverage. I want to taste that flavor, that oak, that smokiness. Talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go get one. Okay, but tell yourself, set your intention. Say, hey, I'm only gonna have 2. I'm going to sip on this rascal and enjoy these 2 beverages.
Right.
Okay? And then make sure throughout the process, don't just get it and just, enjoy it. Drink some water along the way. Okay? Make sure that you're still continuing to hydrate yourself. You're not putting it in there too fast. You're giving it time for your body to process it. And you're giving them some aid along the way by drinking and consuming water as well. Okay? And then as you're enjoying your beverages, just consistently be mindful and let yourself know, man, look at you. You're in control. You're taking care of business. You're enjoying your beverage. You're not overdoing it. This is a good thing for you. Continue this process, and before you know it, it'll be like, second hand. It'll be this would be your new routine. Okay? It worked for me, and I encourage that it'll work for you.
And you also set the intention that you would only have specific drinks in the comfort of our home.
Right.
Like you wouldn't drink all that other stuff when you're, out. Cutting back alcohol suggests ways to reduce the intake. Okay, I think he.
Yeah, just this says.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So and just to piggyback on what she says, like if I want that really, really comforting, I guess you could say, rewarding beverage, I only have every so often, I'm going to have it in the comfort of my home, okay? And I'm going to, make sure that there's nothing that needs to be done, or I don't need to be focused or anything. It's literally just that moment when her and I are just kind of just taking a breath from the work, from our intentions, from our life's work. We're just taking just a short break. That's a great time to do that. Right. But any other time when we are out, because when we are out, we're always working. The wheel never stops turning. Right. It's going to be that, that 2 drink minimum.
But I think you mentioned it too, not always choosing to celebrate something with alcohol or a piece of cake or sugar. Right. There's other ways that we can celebrate. But there's other things that we can do to celebrate something that we've accomplished in our life versus just eating something.
Yeah,
or drinking
for
something.
sure. Facts. Yes. You want to get in the car?
Yes. Today is November 7th, and so when he mentioned setting your intentions, I have these 31-day intention cards that I've created. It's like 13 different decks in different areas of our life, and I'm going to read today's, day 7, and these are on my website. It says, I always choose the best food and drink options for optimal health. This can heal other issues in my body so I can fast when I want to in order to live and feel better. I save money on health bills when I eat and drink right. That's what he was talking about. Like, I can't just go out in the day without setting my intention if there's something I want to change. If I want to eat better, I can't just get up and go. I got to set an intention. So this one is coming from my 31-day eating habits. And you can also put drinks, I just have it titled Eating Habits because that's what I was working on for myself. And I wrote these cards and provide them for people that, okay, so when I go out, this is for me and him. We are going to choose the best food and drink options for us, Deon, because we care about our health. We want to be in optimal health. This is what we do. And so this way we can live and feel better today and on tomorrow, right?
That's right.
It's going to affect you, right? And so we think about our finances too. We think about our abundance. We're going to save money on health bills when we eat and drink right. We don't deprive ourselves. We don't keep ourselves from enjoying things, but we've learned about moderation. And so that comes from the 31-day eating habits that I created for us. Well, for the world, right? So setting your intentions, I'm so glad you brought that up. It's so powerful.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That just...
Yeah. I mean, we have to be mindful, and we are mindful to set intentions with everything that we do. Just set the intentions. You don't want to just be mindfully just doing things and saying things. Like that's one of the things that she definitely helped me with, because during the consumption of alcohol, you do a lot of talking.
Lord Jesus.
A lot of talking about nothing.
And I ain't had to do it. I'm like, I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Hey, she's a great sport. She would just sit there and just take it all in and watch and listen and give me the uh-huhs and all the different things. But it came down to it, bro. I was just talking too much and about nothing.
I said, no, I'm gonna manifest this up out of here. I manifested a spirit of sobriety in this house. Right
and so moving forward, man, that really helped, me just condense not only my drinking but condense my talking. Now, when I do talk, it's with intention.
Come on now.
Just like we're doing on tonight.
Right.
Now I want to see all of you all, make better decisions and have better intentions in regards to your health, in regards to your relationship, and in regards to whatever it is that you consume.
Very good. Because now I like to hear you talk.
You do?
I do.
I like to hear you talk.
Yeah, I like to hear you talk now. At first, it wasn't like that.
That's just because I wasn't saying nothing.
No, and just talking and talking and talking. When we first started even when we met, you would call me and talk for 30 minutes straight, and then you'd be like, okay, well, I'll see you later. I gotta go coach a game or whatever it was. I'd be like, okay, like I couldn't get a word in.
I would just call and talk.
Just talk.
And literally, she probably could have put the phone down, and I would have still have been talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was bad.
Just
that
talking. But again, the drinking and the talking was coping methods and coping mechanisms, and you trying to run away from things that you needed to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a grace there because I knew where it was coming from, and I just knew why you were doing that. Like you would just talk. If you saw somebody on the street, man, this man got on an orange shirt, and then you just go to another subject, then you go to another subject, then you go to another. The whole time you were driving to your next destination. All right, then I'm gonna let you go, and I'm doing
Never
good.
really talked to her.
No, I'm just bleeding out over here. I'm fine.
Not a hey babe, or
No.
what you doing, or
How
was your day, or I was, not showing any concern about her. Literally just picked up the phone and started yapping about nonsense.
I said, bless his heart.
And so what I do, and this is something that I implement with my little boys, before you start talking, like ask yourself a couple of questions. Like, is it necessary?
Right.
Like, literally think about what you're about to say before you say it. Yeah. Before it even drops out of your mouth. Like, is this something that's necessary?
Correct.
Is this something that I should say? I'm maybe getting this mixed up.
Did you drink before you started?
I did not. How is what I'm going to say, how does it apply? How does what I'm thinking about saying, how does it apply to whatever situation is happening right there?
Right.
And if those answers don't line up, maybe you just need to be quiet. I find myself being quiet a lot more than I used to be, because I don't want to be known for just chatter and mindless talk and what they call it
idle talk.
Idle talk, but small talk.
Small talk, yeah.
I want big talk.
And from the movies and from TV, when you see people slurring, that was a big thing for me because you would start to slur, and that's when I knew, okay, here we go. That was a trigger for me. Like,
green light, it's about to happen, boss.
Right. And so I'm like, this alcohol stuff has got to stop. I mean, he was a great guy with it or without it, and that was this was really key. I was like, okay, we're in this union, we're in this relationship, but you would drink so much, it was like, I don't want to be in this union with you because I don't know who I'm with. Like, which one is the real you? I knew the real you in my heart, in my soul, because we wouldn't have never been attracted and manifest each other. Mm-hmm. But it was so much. It's like, I don't like this because you're one way when you're doing this, and then when you're not, you're another way. I need to know who I'm with, and I need you to be consistent and authentic I just want to be with one person. I don't want to be with two people. I ain't never been that type of person to be with two people. So I don't want to start now. So I'm going to need you to get this together.
For sure. And I literally just had to get it together.
Right.
I really did.
That's slurring, bro. Because it was what I would used to see on TV shows. When people start slurring, then that means you're drunk. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want this.
And yes, I would start slurring. But one thing that I didn't notice is because of drinking so much and talking so much while I would drink, the slurring started to spill over into my normal speech pattern, in which I would start saying things just out of habit, just slurring my words all the time.
Yes.
And I had to start really consciously thinking. And so she would tell me this, and I would completely, ignore it. I would hear it, process it, but I hadn't heard it. The day that I heard myself slur and just run 5 words together.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. I was like, oh, okay. Now it clicked. I said, I get it now. And it sounded so immature. It sounded lazy. It sounded not masculine at all. So I was like, never again. I'm gonna make sure all my words have their own space and context when I talk, for sure.
Well, before we wrap up, if there's nothing else, if you just joined, we were talking about partners' habits from the other day, but how the consumption of alcohol with one of your partners, how it can affect the relationship, and then what do when you decide, hey, I don't want my partner to drink anymore. Even though when y'all got together, that's what they used to do. I used to go out with my buddies all the time. I used to go to my mama's house all the time. I used to eat like this all the time. I used to drink and smoke like this all the time. Now you got a problem with it. I never approached that. I just let him do it. I just let him do whatever he was going to do. But I set my intention to manifest that he's going to start loving himself, and I won't have to go and tell you to stop drinking. If you don't stop drinking, I just manifested that this man is going to get the help that he needs, the therapy, all the things. And so now he has a control over how much he consumes, what he consumes, and when he consumes it.
That's right, bro.
So before we go, if you don't have anything else, I'll read one of my last ones. This is from Optimal Health. Somebody asked, how do you cut back? I choose an optimal, healthy lifestyle so that I can enjoy all of the abundance that I've created, manifested, and attracted into my life, so that we can enjoy vacation spots, fun activities without having to run out of breath or steal our future. That's what these cards are. They're about setting intentions. And those are at my website. You can just message me or put in the chat. But that's what it is. We're choosing optimal, healthy lifestyles so we can enjoy our abundance that we create. What is the point of creating and manifesting all this abundance?
And you're in the hospital.
Giving it to them.
You can't move.
Yeah.
Or you got liver damage.
Yeah.
Like it's all the things. Like I believe we all want a consistent level of health, a consistent level of wellness. I'm a big advocate when it comes to wellness. I had just developed some bad habits.
Yeah.
And those habits, as we're talking about today, that old programming, sometimes it'll try to come up.
Yeah.
When it comes up, you acknowledge it, and then you speak to it,
Yeah.
and you go right back to the new program.
Come on.
Okay, the new program, you have to continue to feed it and nurture it. That way, when the old program comes up, you have enough momentum to battle against that old program. Okay, so that old program been there a very, very long time. That program was being programmed before you knew it was a program.
Come on.
Right? So once you acknowledge that and you've started creating something new, we have to always put that foot forward every single time.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
It was great to have y'all. I just released a music single that I wrote about this guy.
My Never Would.
It's called My Never Would. It's out on all platforms. Download and stream.
Yeah.
And we have all these different ways that you can reach us. You can hit us up if you need to know where to find us and where to find all the music and all the things. I don't know where it went. But yeah, I am Dorian Marie. This is GregoryDeon. And we will we'll come back live again. We'll let you know. Just hit us up if you're like, hey, when y'all go live again? Where can I get your music? Where can I get your cards?
Yeah, send us a DM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there's something that you want us to cover, let us know. He's on his page, Hey My Good People, but we're on our main page, Couples Casual Conversation.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms. Every last one of them. You
Yes.
never know what treat you're gonna get.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, we're on TikTok, on the gram, on the YouTubes, all the things. That's my song, My Never Would. You're my never would. Yes, that's what it is on YouTube, Spotify, all the things. And I wrote that song about him because I was done with love. And I said I would never do it again. Never, ever, ever am I going to do it again. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are, though. Because it was something about his love, something about his touch. Oh, here it is. And it opened me back up after being married to a pastor. And that was bad. Divorced him, deconstructed Christianity. And then 8 years later, he came into my life and took me out of my masculine energy and put me into feminine energy. And I said I would never do it. And I didn't wrote a whole song about the man. My never would, because I said I never would do it again. So yeah, there it is right there. My never would. That's what it looks like, if you can see it or not. But anything else before we go? Y'all can say bye in the chitty chat. You can find us on I Am Doria Marie Music. I have a deconstruction channel where I deconstruct religion after being in church for 25 years, married to a pastor, first lady, worship leader. That's there too. And when I met this guy, he didn't even tell me he was the son of a pastor, on the praise team, worship leader, and minister, because I would have ran like a slave.
Hey, you never would.
But yes, I never would have if you would have told me that.
See, I was setting my intentions. You feel me?
Yeah. All right, we appreciate you all for being here. Y'all have a great weekend. Download the song, stream the song, then come back and let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah, put it on repeat.
Yes,
for
sir.
Sure. All right, we'll see y'all next.
Later.
Oh, this is C3.
Yes, this is C3.
Couples Casual Conversation. I'm GregoryDeon.
And I am Doria Marie.
And we'll see y'all next time.
We'll see y'all next week. You're my never would never have thought your love would come for me. Your love would never leave. Yeah.